Anyway, went back to the TGI Fridays though.
The TGI Fridays?
The Mall of America TGI Fridays.
Where you held it down?
Held it down. This time I had to defend my honor. I played Dragula 12.
You played it this time?
I had to. I was like, I have to do it. I have to redeem myself from Dragula.
I stole
Dragula, Valor. I said it to you on the phone once, and I just broke my heart that I fibbed.
It happens,
I didn't play Dragula the first time. Someone else did. So I played it, I'd say 4 straight times.
You played it 4 straight times?
I played it maybe 5 straight.
Were you going up and doing it, or were you hitting from your phone?
I was in the distance. I was sniping.
You're sniping from your phone.
And then finally a guy, one of the 4th, no one noticed. I was like, no one notices. So then what
was the scene? How many people were there?
A lot.
Oh, it was packed.
TGI Fridays is where all the industry, all the service industry goes to hang out afterwards.
Really?
So all the fine-ass bitches are in there.
Damn, all the waitresses.
All the
servant girls.
People of color waitresses were in there.
Really?
Fine-ass people of color.
Damn, dude.
Yes, and they were
That's respectful, it was party time. Say.
Yeah, of course, all these fucking people of color. But the first couple waves of Dragula, no one noticed. The waves, but I overdid it on the touch. I played it too many times in a row.
Yeah, you got greedy.
So finally, this guy was sitting with his girlfriend. He was like from us to the Stoners, and I saw him perk his head up when Dragula came on again, and I was like, yo, you like Dragula? And he was like, is that you playing this? And I was like, no.
Who was this dude?
Just a random guy on a date. He was like, I had a long day at work. I don't like it that much.
Damn.
He heard it like 6 times.
And then some dickhead on a date.
And some white fuck was who's playing Dragula?
Trying to control everything. Trying to control
loser,
everyone's vibing to Dragula.
Everybody was vibing.
Viral videos of probably dudes all dancing to Dragula. Like, dude, this
just
is
hot young women of color dancing. Dig through the ditches and burn. It was a fucking vibe. It was so vibey.
Dude, the vibe was so
good.
And
then
some white fucking asshole.
And then some white fucking devil was like, "Who's playing that?" And I was like, "Do you like it?" And he was like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "It's definitely you." And then I didn't realize I had played it like 3 more times.
How many?
It was loaded up.
How many more?
So after I fought somebody, I was like, I'm sorry. It just kept, that intro is so funny to hear, that weird, I forget, I don't even know what noise that is. And then
how's the intro go?
I don't even know how to describe it. The beginning of Dragula is like,
I gotta find it.
No, before the guitar, it's like a weird I don't know.
Hold on. Let's actually let's get the
you need to paint a picture here. Think of this. Muslims, women of color. TGI Fridays. Now think of a dude going like that. He's like, God damn it, I just want to enjoy my burger. So then here's what I was doing, dude. Yeah.
It just gets spooky as hell.
It's so spooky. And then what you gotta do a lot of guys think they're good with the touch tunes. What you gotta do is you gotta get the people going. So you gotta toss in like a remix to Ignition,
for sure,
or like a I'm Real remix. A lot of remixes.
Yeah, definitely.
But once you put on a song that everybody loves, they're all like,
attention.
Woo! They all start dancing and having fun.
You're DJing the
and
party.
then you hit a Dragula. You bring them back in with a fucking Dragula. I'm a counterpuncher on the touch tunes.
You're DJing this party.
I DJ'd the TGI Fridays. And then people started...
You might be DJI Fridays.
DJI Fridays.
DJI Fridays, dude.
That's a pretty sick name. So, yeah, I was DJing it. And we went out with me and my lady went out with 2 fans after the show. Nice. 2 lucky fellas. Yeah, and then they got to witness me and my lady getting a fight. It was like, oh, you're done talking? We're not talking for the rest of the night?
Was this after Dragula?
This is, during Dragula. There was no after. I left with about 4 Dragulas in the chamber. So, yeah, if you listen to this and
the manager has to reset it with the key. If there's too many Dragulas lined up, the manager has to come out of the back and undo the Dragula.
The waitress was upset. Our waitress was upset.
Why?
Because she was like, is that you doing that?
So how did you see your mom naked?
My mom thought I left. Someone, the house phone was ringing.
Did she phone
So this is probably about 5 years ago. Somebody called for her. So I was like, Mom, the phone's for you. Mom.
A landline? She still has a landline?
And I was fucking pissed that she wasn't answering. So I walked up the steps like, fucking Mom, Like, answer the fucking phone. And then she walked out of her bathroom totally naked.
Bombs out.
Totally naked.
What's
and I
she
was
look like?
Fuck. But I remember.
How old is she again?
At this time, probably like 60, 58.
She's cute though, right? I mean,
She's-
like
she's
she's
not
in
an
good
ugly
shape.
woman.
Yeah, she's
She's not
good
like,
shape,
she
but
doesn't
the
look
problem
like
is
me. She
Let's
doesn't
just
look
say
like a fat, pale
your dad
lady.
outkicked this coverage. She is
No,
out
my
of
dad
his
was
league.
hot. My dad was very hot. Did I show you my dad when he was younger?
No, not
My
yet.
dad's hot as fuck.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a beast. Big dick, too. I saw his dick a bunch when I was a kid. And I was like,
But what?
the thing that stuck with me,
But
my
this is-
mom was more upset about it than I was. She walks out of the bathroom. I'm standing there. I was like, ew. Like, that's how I reacted. I wasn't like,
Ew.
I was just like, oh, fuck, mom. Like, ew. And she was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, she got real upset. But I remember the one thing that stuck with me is she trimmed her pubes.
Ooh, that means
She
they're active. And this is what I was saying.
She's maintaining.
I remember being like, I thought it was going to be a fucking chaotic, just a
Bouffant,
bush.
yeah.
That was nice.
But it wasn't.
That's the shape of a heart.
Yeah, that's because your dad requests it.
I know, but I
he's
remember
definitely
being like,
like, you
that
gotta
was troubling.
Keep that at like.
That was the worst part.
She trimmed it to the point where she's shaving and you can actually see lip.
I didn't look.
I want to know if you can see
Boy,
lip.
oh boy.
Because I was locked onto her tits. I'm trying to find this picture. So me and my family went to laser tag. We took my niece to play laser tag, and my dad's under the black light. We got inside, and my dad's fucking jeans.
It's unbelievable.
Riddled
I
with
think
cum.
about it.
Okay, so I get it now. So
Yeah.
it wasn't wet with cum right
No,
then.
it was under a black light.
Dude,
so we're standing
When do you
in
see
a,
this?
we're
Whatever
in
you
a-
think it is now,
it's
you're going to be
incredible.
fucking baffled.
We're in a semicircle asking this kid is giving us the directions to how to play laser tag. And I hear my sister, she's like, Jesus Christ, Dad. And we both, me, my sister, and my dad all look at the same time. My dad goes, Jesus Christ. But I have never laughed that hard in my life. Like, full fucking cum.
Show them.
I will. But listen. But then he didn't give a fuck. He kept asking questions. Like, he was drawing attention to himself.
asking directions
He was like, what if I, wait, how do I shoot the satellite? What happens if I shoot the satellite? Is that 10,000? I'm like, Dad, shut the fuck up, dude.
Can I change teams? See everyone?
Also, I had enough time to take my phone out and take a picture of my dad's cum jeans. Look at his hand in his pocket, tucked in. Fucking.
Look at all the cum on the fingers, man.
Dude, that is a fucking crime.
So sorry.
How did I forget this?
What?
In the hotel in Indianapolis, check in. I'm like, I'm going to jack off.
Yeah.
I'm in there naked on top of the made bed, fully naked. I was about to get in the shower.
Yeah.
Cracked open the lotion. I'm laying there, phone like this. Dude, a dude just opens the door. A dude just walks in.
What?
And,
Did he feast his eyes?
And it took him a long time to avert his eyes. His gaze was on my body. And I also didn't,
He froze.
I didn't move. I just was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I didn't, there was no shame. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I said, my life, my rules. It was crazy. He was like, no one's supposed to be in here. I was like, well, I'm in here and I'm fucking jacking off. I haven't been caught whacking off in so long. I didn't give a fuck. I thought I would be. I thought I'd be mortified.
It was almost a lady. How was it not a lady?
A lady, I think, might have been worse.
You think so?
That would have been a little shameful.
I mean,
I don't know why. I think, dude, I just saw an Indian guy's face. And he did it maybe because of the light. Maybe because it was dark in my room and it took him a second to get adjusted because he was like,
no way, dude. He was just feasting his
really?
eyes.
Feasted his eyes. I mean, it must have looked nuts. I was on top of a white, all white bed. I was I was like an octopi.
He might not have seen you, dude.
I don't think he saw me because he stood there for a minute like, hello? I was like, what are you doing?
It's like Beauty and the Beast. The
Also,
furniture
like,
started
this
talking
far
to him.
away.
Really?
So close. Dude. He opened the front door. It was like,
He definitely saw you fapping
he
on the
saw
bed.
me rock hard too. As hard as it gets. Maybe that's why I was not ashamed. If he would have got me early,
Yeah.
lotioning up
Working
a
up a
pud,
soft bird.
working a pud with lotion.
Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here!
Dude,
God, that's the best thing ever.
I laughed. He heard me laugh, and he was like, "Don't tell anyone." I was like, "I'm not going to tell anyone."
What the fuck? What's it? Why is he
going to get fucking fired?
Oh, yeah.
If I went down to the desk and I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
He walked in on me masturbating.
I was in there masturbating.
I was rock fucking hard. I was about to come.
I had a boner. By the way, right back to work.
Of course, dude.
Put the hard hat back on.
Of course. Ah! God damn.
And then he knocked. He waited. He went outside, closed the door, waited like 20 seconds, and then knocked. And I was like, dude, you know what I'm doing.
You know
I'm ass naked jerking off. And he was like, I have your amenities. I was like, leave him at the fucking door.
Yeah, dude.
What do you think?
Were you still? So you had to talk
I
to
had
him?
to stand up rock hard with a lotion to boner at the hotel, talking through a door. Like,
no man
dude,
should ever have to do that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a wild day.
Yeah.
My mom got knocked out, and I didn't resuscitate her.
Jesus.
My sister looked at me. My mom fell down the steps. She was shit-faced. She's going to love that I'm telling this story. This is great.
Right.
But yeah, my family was out getting fucked up. And then when they came home, I was in the basement, and my mom came down to see me. And she had a handful of cookies. And she had Oreos.
Dude, stop.
And she dropped an Oreo and tried to recover that. But she dove down the steps head first. Fucking Pete Rose slid and just fucking ate steps.
Trying to save an Oreo.
And she got totally knocked out. And my sister's behind her.
How old are you? I'm sorry.
I'm 30.
Not at the time. Sorry.
At the time, this is probably 2 years
29.
ago. Oh, no, this is actually probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
This is recent.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude, I would throw up laughing if I saw.
Well, I heard my sister. I didn't see her fall. My sister was behind her and was like, "Mom's dead." She was like, "Oh fuck, mom!" She was like, "Shane, come here, mom's dead." And I was like,
God.
I came over and my dad was shit faced and he was up in the kitchen and he was like, he lost his composure right away. He was like, "What's going on down there?"
Oh, he's crying.
It was crazy right away.
Trying not to laugh.
They were all drunk and my sister was like, "Call 911, Dad. Mom's dead."
Oh my God.
I get to my mom and she's knocked out.
How did you not tell me the story? This is how you should open up every morning.
She had black in her mouth from the Oreos. Her mouth was all fucking gross and like purple from the wine.
Oh my God.
And my sister was like, "We gotta
Her
give
lips are purple. Her teeth are black. She's decaying."
But no, she was like, "We gotta give her mouth to mouth." She's like, "Give her mouth to mouth."
Ew.
And even in a moment where I was convinced she was dead, I was like, "My mom is dead right now." I was still like, "You fucking..." Like in that moment, my sister was like, "You got to give her mouth to mouth," and I looked at her. I was like, "Fucking, I don't. You do it. You give her mouth to mouth."
So did she wake up?
She woke up. The ambulance did show up. So now we've got a fucking EMT in our fucking basement. And my mom woke up and was mortified. She was like so embarrassed, but she broke her fucking. Katie, my sister, I stayed the fuck away. I was like, "She'll be all right. She'll be all right."
Oreo lick of the fingers.
Oh, she got the Oreos. My mom's hand was like, finger was totally fucked up. And she didn't notice it because obviously she was knocked out. And then she sits up and is like, "I think my hand hurts." It was like, "Oh, fuck.
Is the bone sticking to her forearm?
A John Always pinky.
She would cry if she knew I was telling this story. But
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad's tough. I grew up in a nice house and just played video games all the time. My dad grew up like just a moron. He wanted to grow fish in their pool over the winter. You would catch fish from the creek and put them in the pool, and it would freeze over. And then in the summer, when it would thaw out, there'd just be tons of dead fish. He was a moron. Oh my God, his stories are fucking hilarious. But this was a different time. Like he had to fight other kids at the Knights of Columbus picnic. He remembers being in like 4th grade having a fist fight for the dads. But no, he got in a fight one time. My uncle Frank, he's the oldest, and he's the only one that's not huge and jacked. He's like a normal guy. But I mean, he's still a fucking psycho. Like he went to Notre Dame, he left Notre Dame, he went to the Marines in Vietnam, and then left and came back and became a prison warden. He's a fucking animal. And this is how funny it is, because he's been in prisons his whole life. So like, he talks like a black guy from the 70s. So, I'll see him. Like, "What's up, Holmes?" I'm like, "All right. You job-ass motherfucker." I'm like, "All right." Like my cousin Jeff caught him bench pressing in the garage listening to Ghetto Boys. He's like 68. It was fucking hilarious. So he at the time he was a volunteer firefighter in Steelton, Pennsylvania, and he would be like a first responder. So he had what is it called, a scanner, and he would take calls and he would get to the fire first. So he got a call once, and he raced over there to get it. These people said there was a house fire, and he got there, and it was just just 4 fucking idiots, and it was a motorcycle that had caught fire that they just put out with a garden hose. My Uncle Joe gets there, and it's just a fucking shitty motorcycle that was on fire. They put it out with a garden hose, and he was like, all right, well, now I need to use your phone, you fucking idiots. And they're like, all right, you can come use your phone. He's inside, and he's talking shit on the guys that called. He called the fire department. He was like, hey, don't rush through the city to get here. Like, don't speed through the fucking city. This is just a bullshit fire. These fucking morons set. This is something that, and while he's talking shit on these guys, calling them fucking morons, one of them just sucker punches them and knocks them out in their kitchen, just knocked out my uncle. And they obviously went on his way. He went home and he was like, well, he was all fucked up. He got home and he saw my dad, and I guess he told my dad what had happened. So my dad was like, fuck that shit. I'm getting the boys, we're going to these fuckers' house. We're gonna fuck them up. So my dad and 3 of his friends, one of them had a broken arm, which is funny. A cast on his arm. They get in the car and they drive over to this guy's house, and they kick the door open, and it's just a family. They got the wrong house. It's just a family watching TV. So, like, the kids were on the floor, it looked nice. They're like, where the fuck is he? They're like, oh, they live next door. So they're like, oh shit. All right, thank you. And then they kick in those guys' door, and he said they were just sitting on the couch. So him and his 4 friends just started beating the shit out of these 4 guys, just while they're in their living room. And then, like, the guy with the cast was hitting them with the fucking cast. And then one of the guys pulled out a gun. So then my dad and his friends ran. Like, just ran. He said they ran right through the fucking screen door, which is funny. But while they were running out, one of my dad's friends was like, we're gonna burn your fucking house down, you asshole. And the neighbors whose house they broke into called the fire department. And my Uncle Joe got the call. Uncle Frank got the call. Then, I'm running long, baby, fuck it. A couple years later, my dad is going to buy a 6-pack in a bar in Steelton, and he notices those 4 guys that the house they broke into were playing pool, and he was like, I remember seeing them through the fucking the mirror behind the bar, and he was like, they noticed me, but he was using his brother Joe's fake ID, and the brother Joe's like, he's the biggest, strongest, but he's the only nice one. Like he went to the Naval Academy for football. Like, he's a big guy, but he's kind of a weird pussy. He's into Ancestry now. But he was a jacked monster, and he was a sweet guy. So my dad gives the bartender his ID, gets the fuck out of there. Apparently those guys went up to the bartender and were like, who the fuck was that? And the bartender was like, that was Joe Gillis. He gave him my uncle's ID. So then a couple weeks later, my dad's with his brother Joe. And his brother Joe's back from college, and he's like, oh, I got a notice from the post office. Hopefully it's my college yearbook. He's all excited. And then he gives the post office, it was a summons for breaking and entering and assault. Got charged with assault. And then, dropped because they were like, who the fuck's that? Anyway, that's it. You guys are great. Fuck yeah. 6, 1, Liz, Pete Records. See you guys.
No, I like history, so it's coming. I'm not a Republican now, but it's coming. When I'm on the road, I travel every fucking weekend. There's nothing to do during the day, and then at night you do stand up. But during the day, I travel every week, and sometimes I like to visit like historical places throughout the country. So a couple summers ago, don't laugh at that. Shut up, dude. It's not lame at all. I just laughed at me from the balcony. Dork. Yeah. So a couple summers ago, I was in Washington, D.C., and I went and I visited Mount Vernon. I went and I visited George Washington's house. Turns out it was George Washington's plantation. Shucks. Dude, I get in there. I'm the only one there. It was the first summer during COVID. I'm the only visitor there. It's me, and if you've been there before, you know, it's 15 reenactors that don't break character. They stayed. Everyone else was in the 1700s. I was the only guy there.
Like, I signed up for the tour, and my tour guide was Martha Washington. It wasn't her. It was some fat bitch. I saw right through it. I signed up for the tour, so me and Martha have to hang out together for 15 minutes to see if anybody else signs up for, like, the 3 o'clock tour or whatever. Of course they don't. I gotta make small talk with a woman that won't stop pretending to be from the 1700s. It's fucking insane. What do you say? I was just out there with her like, where's George Washington? She's like, oh, the general? He won't be joining us today. He's in his chambers. It's just you and I. I was like, wait. You trying to fuck me? Never broke. No one broke. Enough time's gone by, I've had enough to think about why nobody would break character while I was there. And for real, I'm fairly certain they thought that I was a special needs man. Like, they all got together and they were like, look, this is obviously a big day for this guy. Nobody break character. Let's make it magic for him. Like, they watched me park my car when I got there. And when I got out, they were like, oh. It's one of the driving ones. Look at him. It was also during COVID, and the mask did not do me any favors. If you can only see my eyes, I got the eyes for it. It was sunny out. It also didn't help. I walked up to my tour guide, like, where's George Washington? He's like, oh, you're a big guy. I was like, yeah. So me and Martha go in for the tour. Due to COVID restrictions at the time, we were not allowed to speak indoors. All right, so for $36, me and a woman dressed like Martha Washington fucking dead silently walked through for a full hour. You need to be able to talk for this tour to have any value at all. There's nothing to read in there. It's just old chairs and shit. Me and this lady went room to room for an hour, and this was the tour. I was in the corner of every room, just not getting it. We get outside when we were done. She's like, do you have any questions? I was like, yeah, what the fuck was that? What was that? What'd you and me just do? So that was the end of me and Martha. I go off by myself. I started looking around. Like I said, it was the first summer during COVID, all right? So we're in the middle, we're in the middle of tearing down statue season. And I was at a Founding Fathers plantation during all of that. So I wanted to check out the slave quarters. I want to see what all the fuss was. No, whatever. Fuck you guys. What'd you guys do? What'd you guys do that summer? Fucking post black squares on your Instagram? Is that what you did? How dare you judge me? How dare you? I was there. Boots on the ground at a Founding Fathers plantation. Growing, learning as a white, going down. For real though, I was in there. I was in George Washington's slave quarters. By the way, the first thing you do when you walk into George Washington's slave quarters is you go, ooh. Somehow worse than I thought they were gonna be. It's rough, dude. That guy had a fucking dungeon. For real, you didn't know. I'm in there, and I'm by myself, and I'm like, you remember that time, it was a tense fucking time in this country, and I'm in there by myself like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then I hear some footsteps coming down the path behind me, and now blocking the only exit of the room was a slave reenactor. They have those there. And he did not break character. I turned around, he was like, oh, well, hello there, sir. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, please, you don't have to do the character. I'd give anything for you to not do that character. He didn't break. He was good. He was like, look at those clothes. You must be from the future. Hello, time traveler. I was like, no, I'm from right now. What are you doing out? Come here now. No, I did not say that. Obviously, I didn't fucking say that. I didn't say a word. I was frozen. I was paralyzed with white guilt. I didn't say a word. And he knew what he was doing. He, for real, he knew what he was doing, dude. He wasn't giving me the George Washington tour. He was just drilling me with shit I didn't want to hear. He was hitting me with the, you remember that time, tense time. That guy walks in there and sees me. I know what I look like. I know exactly. I've got the body type of a guy who says, let's see the rest of the body cam footage before we jump to any conclusions. I know what I look like. He wasn't even giving me the George Washington tour. He was just telling me fucked up shit. He was talking about other people. He was like, Thomas Jefferson had about 6 slave children of his own. He only freed 2 of his own children during his lifetime. I was like, Jesus Christ. Isn't that a bummer? Thomas Jefferson literally enslaved some of his own children. Yeah. Now you know how I felt, dude. I was getting fucking drilled with this information. That's when I started playing possum a little bit. I was like, maybe I am a special needs guy. So he was hitting me with the fucking white guilt facts. I was... I mean, it was a battle, dude. It was like 2 wizards fighting. Finally, I won by just lowering my mask. He was mid-rant. Oh, shit, my bad, brother. And he let me go. He freed me. That's when I went to the George Washington Museum. There's a museum there that as soon as you walk into that museum, they start pumping up George. You walk in, they're like, George Washington was a great man. And you're like, I just came from his dungeon. But you know, I'm American. I'll forget about that part of his history. What else did he do, you know? We're not gonna let human trafficking define these guys, are we? Huh? I don't know. Anyway, I was in there. I was going through the museum. I'll admit, I had girl brain towards George from what I'd seen. I was still mad at him. I was going through the museum. I was like, George Washington, fucking asshole. Like, George Washington had red hair. I was like, ugly bitch. I was trying to be cool and liberal and hate him. I couldn't do it, dude. They started pumping up George. Got me going, dude. I was going through the museum. They're like, George Washington was 6'2". I was like, nice. Like, he could never tell a lie. I was like, this guy's unbelievable. Like, he single-handedly defeated the British. At this point, I'm back. No, dude, I'm worse. Nobody better touch my statues. I love statues. I'm ready to get on Facebook, defend Rittenhouse, whatever I need to do to help this country get better. I'm back, 100%. Love America, love George Washington. And then you get to the end of the tour, and the last thing you see on the George Washington tour is George Washington's teeth in a case. And if you know, the myth is George Washington had wooden teeth. Turns out, George Washington it was ivory and lead dentures with horse and cow teeth on the top row and human slave teeth on the bottom row. Damn, what the fuck? That's it. That's how the tour ends. You gotta walk outside to a hot, sunny parking lot. Like, what the fuck was that at the end? Also, lead with the teeth. Show me the teeth right away. Dude, don't make me love George Washington for 2 hours and at the very end be like, you wanna see some wild shit? Like, and once you see his teeth, every story about him makes perfect sense. Like, he was a man of few words. It's like, yeah, dude, he had fucking donkey teeth and fucking lead in his mouth for a decade. You can't keep lead in your mouth for a decade. That would give you, for real, like rabies-like symptoms. You die. Like, I can't believe we defeated the British. So I know how we did it. We had a fucking 6'2", red-headed, retarded guy out in the woods just waiting for those motherfuckers, dude. 6'2" in 1770, that's like 6'10" today. Red hair, horse teeth, a sword, just... Do you want to tax me, motherfucker? You know how terrifying that guy was coming out of the woods? Some 5-foot British guy, oh! Run, it's George! You ever see that painting of George crossing the Delaware? Standing. He's the only one standing on the rowboat. Everyone else is like, George, you gotta get down. George's like, they're over there, get them! You know what happened that day when George crossed the Delaware? It was Christmas Day, and it was a bit of a massacre because George caught the British off guard because the British absolutely correctly assumed. They were like, only a retarded guy's gonna try to cross this icy river today in a rowboat. Fortunately for them, our first president was on the other side of that river. It's like, get in the boat, we gotta kill these motherfuckers for fun. I know I said retarded there a couple times. My bad on that. I'm not trying to give myself a pass on being able to use that word. But I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. It nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself. It's funny when you bring up Down syndrome, you can always tell who's never been around it in their lives. You know what I mean? Like if I tell people, if I'm like, yeah, I have family members with Down syndrome, people that have never been around it are always like, oh. Like Down syndrome is the fucking end of the world. Like, oh. Are they okay? Are they doing okay? It's like, they're doing better than everybody I know. They're the only dudes I know having a good time pretty consistently. Sorry they're not on fucking Adderall and anti-anxiety like the rest of us. They're on fucking Capri Suns. Having a good time. Dude, my Uncle Danny sneaks grilled cheese sandwiches into restaurants just in case they don't serve grilled cheese sandwiches. I don't know where he's getting these fucking things. It's the best. It's the best. You'll be out to dinner with him, you look across the table, you see him sneaking a grilled cheese. Yo, where'd you get that cheese, Danny? His dad's with him, he's like, that fucker, he's been making them at night, I know he is. I'm not making them at night, Dad. Then he'll look at you and be like, I'm making them at night. Yeah.